Welcome to the Quick Slant on Green Bay Packer Nation. I'm your host, J.R. Augustine, and today we're doing Rants and Raves from the Packers versus Cowboys. We're going to be discussing the good and the bad of the game, and we're going to include one instance where a Wisconsin boy almost beats the Packers on the last play of the game. So stick around. I want to talk about the Raves first. Let's start out on a positive note. How about Aaron Jones outshining Zeke Elliott in the running game? Now, granted, Zeke had a 4.4 yard average, which is pretty good. However, that's highly skewed. Up until the fourth quarter, when Zeke had that 25-yard breakout, he was averaging just 1.9 yards a carry to Aaron Jones's 6.6 yards. So gotta give a hand to Aaron Jones for his production in this game. And I just loved watching him. He has such great vision. When Williams is in the game, he just kind of is hammering it in there, and either the hole is there or it's not. But Aaron Jones did a fantastic job of making some really impressive cuts and made some holes for himself that gained him some great yardage and, I think, the starting position, even if Ty Montgomery is able to go. So kudos to Aaron Jones. Also, how about that offensive line? Another game with another win without our offensive line completely intact. It was good to see Brian Bulaga back, and I think that played an important role in this win. But the fact that our offensive line was able to do what they were able to do in this game it just astounds me again. Now, granted, the sacks in, the second quarter, sacks in the second quarter, I think two sacks, but two sacks on a single drive. Lane Taylor was the recipient of one, or was the result of one of those. You can't have that, and we really don't want to see that, especially we don't want to put our quarterback in danger. But all in all, they did a fairly good job of protecting Aaron Rodgers and did a great job of making holes for Aaron Jones to run through. So I just loved how the offensive line kind of sucked it up again and played their hearts out. And it makes you look forward to when we actually have our starting offensive line back on the field. So kudos to those guys. Also, and this is a huge one for me, how about Davante Adams not only able to play in this game, but scoring 2 touchdowns, one of which was the game winner. Man, my brother and son and nephew and I were all at the game on against the Bears, and man, when he took that hit, honestly, we were wondering if he would ever walk again, much less score 2 touchdowns in the very next game. It was impressive. In that Bears game, it was hard to even enjoy the game afterwards. It was such a monstrous hit and such a dangerous hit. But Davante, I don't know how he did it. Miracle of miracles, I guess. But he really impressed with his production all night long, but especially in those key moments. Kudos again to Davante. Also, we certainly can't forget Aaron Rodgers with a $1:13 left on the clock to drive down the field and punch it in the end zone. And I think what impresses me most about that is not just that he was able to do it, maybe not even that he was able to do it, but it was that everybody in the NFL knew that was way too much time to give Aaron Rodgers. And it all worked out in our favor. So those are my raves for this game. I have 3 rants for this game. It actually is hard for me to come up with a lot of negative when you're on such a high after such a huge win. However, the 2 sacks on the single drive in the second quarter, you got to think the way the Packers offense was operating that we would have scored again on that drive. So those 2 sacks killed that drive and canceled out any chance to put points up on the board in that drive. So that is my number 1 rant about this game, is we've got to clean up those sacks, especially we just don't want to see Brett Hundley take the field because Aaron's hurt. So they did a great job in the second half of protecting Aaron Rodgers, and I wish they had done that all game long. So that's rant number one, is the sacks that we allowed in this game. Rant number two, and I don't normally do this because, I guess mostly because I actually officiated games in Phi Ed when I was a kid, because I actually played on the team, so I was asked to do officiating, and honestly, it is not an easy job. Stuff flying that fast, live action, and you have to make the right call. It really is not an easy job, so I don't usually bash the officials very much in a game, and I certainly don't use it as an excuse for not winning a game. But the hit on Blake Martinez, man, the hit Blake Martinez had on Dez Bryant was just absolutely and utterly ridiculous. There's no way that should have been called, and I kind of wonder if some of the later calls were makeup calls to try and make up for what the officials knew was just a wrong call. So I'm just going to let that one lie, but that is definitely one of my rants for this game. Now the last rant I have is actually where is on the last play of the game. The pitches, the laterals are happening all over the place. One of the laterals, and we're going to slow this down for you, one of the laterals goes to Jason Witten. Jason takes a couple of steps, makes another lateral, which Nick Perry picks up, which is great, right? Except for Nick Perry decides he's not even going to go down. He's just going to dangle the ball from one hand. And lo and behold, the Dallas center, a Wisconsin boy, graduated from UW in Madison, he swats the ball out of Perry's hands. That is a live ball right now. And granted, we were fortunate. He weighs 320 pounds. He really wasn't going to go far. But what would have happened if Zeke Elliott had swatted that ball out of Perry's hands? He might have gone to the house, and we would have had a loss on our hands instead of a win. You got to know, especially at the NFL level, you've got to know that ball is still live, and you've got to protect it with your life. Fortunately, the ball was pitched back, and Rollins picked it up, ended the game, and Rollins did the smart thing, just curled up on it on the ground and waited for someone to touch him. So those are the rants and raves from this game. If you have any of your own, drop them in the comments, and if you're new here, we'd love for you to subscribe and hit that little bell notification to get instant notifications when we post new content on our YouTube channel. And until next time, go Pack.